Hello everybody, today I have the pleasure to propose to you this key 57 entitled Self-Accomplishment or Self-Realization. So, like usually, we're gonna proceed in 4 steps. Chapter 1, in a certain extent, the definition, what's the concept of this. Secondly, we will see the reason for being of it. Then we'll see also in the field of application. Third, we'll cover 10 different techniques to achieve, let's say, this state of self-realization. And fourth, we'll see 10 different advice and tips. Well, first of all, before starting with the kind of definition of this concept, I just would like, as an introduction and let's say going and reaching progressively, what we are living now for, let's say we've been living for 2 years, beyond of the sanitary crisis, this is especially an existential crisis. What does it mean? Existential crisis, it means that the situation allowed and pushed a lot of people through the lockdown, affecting their activities, their routine and so on, to reduce, to change a little bit, and also to think, okay? To just focus on their life, on their existence. So, questioning thereby sense of life, the meaning of life, let's say the system, very deep question like spirituality and so on, the environment, nature and so on. But beyond of that also, even not that much, also for their own life, okay? If what they are doing is matching with the expectation, if they feel happy, because, you know, before, in a certain extent, a lot of people, they were running, rushing, because the system push us towards this dimension, okay? So a lot of people were running, rushing and so on, without necessarily, let's say, think about their existence, okay? I am happy, do I know myself, and so on, so on, you know? These are the existential question. That's why it aroused a lot of mix in the mindset of people. You know, for example, in France, 90% of the French people, they would like to change their job because they consider it doesn't match with the expectation. Something like 60% of European people, they testify that they don't feel fulfilled. Okay, so Western countries, Western people, meaning thereby they reach, you know, the supposed to be the on the materialistic aspect, all the, let's say, the achievements of richness and so on so far. Okay, so it means thereby that the society doesn't bring all what the individual needs. Okay, so there is maybe something else. Okay, so that's really the point. So concretely, more down to earth, let's say, what is self-accomplishment, self-realization? Okay, so first of all, it is the fact to realize with real eyes, it's the realization of your dreams. Okay, this is the materialization of your purpose, okay, of your reason for being. And thereby, this is, in a certain extent, your mission of life, your life mission. Okay, so this is your realization of your dreams, the materialization of your purpose of life, meaning of life, and your mission in general. Secondly, this is to be in harmony, okay, in the absolutes, because you feel useful first and you do what you like. That's the point. You are in harmony because you like what you do, and in parallel you are useful. So both combined, you are in harmony. Third, as you are in harmony individually, you are vibrating, okay? You are not shining, but you are, let's say, enlightening, okay? And thereby, you are in harmony with people, with your network, with the world in general. Even if it's not designed as you would like, that you think that you could improve, that you could change and so on, but you're at peace, okay? That's really important. And then the fourth one is more, let's say, metaphysics, or it is borrowed from the Veda, you know, the Hindu sacred holy scripture, stating, find the place which is already yours in this cosmic breath or cosmic lung. Okay, so concretely, what does it mean? It means that individually we are a small alveolus among the big cosmic lung. Okay, so we are part of a cosmic breath. That's the point. Okay, so find the place which is already yours in this cosmic breath. It means thereby that there is a space for everybody. And this is something I not struggle. This is naturally what will be the obvious, let's say, state of mind, mindsets of people. This is what I try to explain for coaching of life, for education and so on. In the evolutionary school we are building, and that I teach already in the orphanage of Bali, this is this. There is space for everybody because nature is well done. Normally, there is the same amounts of men and women. Okay, naturally, I say, if human being, mankind is not changing that, normally. So, there is skills and abilities for everything and for all needs. The thing, this is really a notion that you can see in a family, in a couple, in a friendship, in a company, whatever the scope, a society and so on. If people feel at their own space, at their own place, and they feel, let's say, fulfilled, they have their Lebensraum. In German it means the comfort space, okay, the vital space. They are okay, and even they respect each other, okay, because they have their limits, their frontier. It's like, you know, you have the right not to like, especially your neighbor. You don't fight each other because he has his territory, you have yours, and that's fair enough. You close the door and that's it. Okay? It's the same principle. As long as you have this, let's say, we could say this perimeter, you are doing according to your abilities and you feel fulfilled. Okay, so that's important. Then, why? The purpose, the fields of application. First, to feel fulfilled, well-rounded also, okay? Fulfilled in harmony in your life. And also on the evening of your death, okay? Because if this is what we saw previously, but if you think that you did all what you could, okay, like the best intention, when you're gonna die, okay, even if maybe some people would like to stay a little bit more and so on, okay, of course. But if, I don't know, you're 90 years old and so on, and you think that you did your best, you could have improved this, okay, of course. But you feel fulfilled because you're satisfied of what you did, you can rest in peace. And for resting in peace, I think before we need to do things, okay, for that. And we can, the goal is not necessarily to rest in peace, but to live in peace, okay? And for that, this is the goal, the path of the self-realization. Then, secondly, is to transcend yourself. Transcend yourself. We saw a key, special key for that, is the key 14. This is surpassing yourself. It means that you're satisfied with, what is it? Okay, what you did. Okay, that's the point. Third is to rise your vibration, of course, of happiness and of love, okay, happiness, joyness, and so on, and also of love, hurt, and so on. Okay, that's really important. Concretely, this is activating practically the law of attraction. This is chicken and egg, because you have a good mindset, you are positive, you have a positive attitudes, and thereby you emit and you attract good vibration of events, meetings, encounters, and so on, people, events, whatever, okay, fates, destiny, and you attract that. You remember what we saw for the key 36, co-creation. The key is to think, to feel at the present time. Okay, so as Buddha say, what you think you attract, what you feel you what you think you create, what you feel you attract, and so on. Okay, so that's really important, this notion of law of attraction in a process. So you have more chance to be, let's say, successful, in quote mark, and happy if you are in a process of self-realization. As a matter of fact, is obvious. But on the other way around, if you start by being optimist, you have more chance to reach these states of mind, this mindset, and this philosophy, and these accomplishments, this self-accomplishment, self-realization. Okay, that's why I say it's chicken and egg. Okay, then it promotes multidisciplinarity. Okay, it's holYstyle of life. holYstyle of life, this is what I baptize. This is neologism. Neologism means new word. It means holy, okay, it means, so there is a contraction of holistic, holy, and style, a style of life, lifestyle, and holy, like sacred, spiritual, because for me spirituality is the contemplation, open up the temple, the inner temple, no need necessarily a temple, a building for that. Everything can be initiatory. This is what I say many times in the key 20, for instance, but among all the keys, everything can be perceived as spiritual. So holy, everything is sacred because you are vibrating in that sense. As we say in Sufism, when a drunkard penetrates a tavern, it remains a tavern. When a Sufi, let's say a believer, a spiritual person, enters into a tavern, it becomes a temple. Okay, why? Because the vibration makes the things. Okay, your perception makes the things. Okay, so that's the point. That's the point. holYstyle of life, I will define it, depict it much more deeply. I did through, let's say, the different keys, but I will do a special key for that. Okay, to express more deeply what is it concretely. But this is the fact that multidisciplinarity, because in self-realization, as you are successful in one thing, you feel comfortable and so on, you have more chance to be successful for other things. In the law of attraction, in your vibration, because you're confident, and so on and so forth. Okay? Then, concretely, last point, the reason for being in field of application is, concretely, the awakening in practice. Okay? The awakening is not only, oh, I have lucidity and I see the beautiful world and so on. No, I'm part of the beautiful world, so I can act and interact with the beautiful world. Because the universe, universe is within you individually and collectively. You contain the universe. Okay, you are not a drop in the ocean, you are the entire ocean within a drop. It's from Rumi, the Sufi, once again. Okay, so the goal is awakening in practice. Okay, and this means not just a dreamer but also a doer. Okay, that's the point. Okay, before starting, 2 points, essential points I wanted to tell you regarding this concept, which is concretely extremely important. Okay, in this new era, new paradigm, the self-realization is the materialization of it. For me, this is my perception, my feeling. I do not think that we have to outsource. Is not a government, is not the extraterrestrial, I mean the aliens. This is not a new prophet coming and let's say change the things and so on. We need to clean up and to change ourselves. Okay, clean up and establish things to reach this self-realization according to what we feel as our mission. Okay, which can be very small. This is not the point, but at least to be at peace and to be fulfilled and to high vibration. This is for me crucial for this new paradigm. So the first thing is what we call the Maslow pyramid. Maslow is a psychologist and also a philosopher, but he established this pyramid with 5 levels, 5 steps in 50s. So we will emit at the end some remarks. So I just tell you what is it concretely. The pillar, let's say the first step is, so this is evoking the different human needs. Okay, the first range, the first level is physiological levels. What is it? Eating, sleeping, drinking. Okay, the first, I mean, the most important thing to survive is this. Okay, that's the first level. Secondly is the security, safety of security. What is it? Protection in general. Again, peace period, and not in living in a country in a war with violence, riots, or living, I don't know, in a favela or in a very dangerous suburb, or I don't know, special ghetto and so on. That's the point. And for example, for safety, I don't know, an airbag for materialistic dimension. So the second one is, after physiological, the second one is security. The third one is belonging. Okay, belonging to a group, a class, socio-professional, a corporation, a company, an association, political wing, religion, okay, whatever, okay, but you belong to a group, because we are not only individual. I mean, in the paradox, in an individual society, we need to belong to something. Like, even for style, the Gothics, you know, the people all in black, you know, like Marilyn Manson and so on, or I don't know, there is the punks movement and so on. You know, there are lots of types of, but they belong to, even currently for this situation, those who are in favor against, you know what. Okay, the polarization, as long as you belong to a group, like when you do a demonstration, you belong to a group and you have a kind of, not aura, but you feel like a family of ideas, aspiration, philosophy, and so on and so forth. That's the point of belonging. Fourth is the esteem. Okay, esteem means the recognition. Okay, from your peers, from your family, from your colleagues, from your friends, from the society, the medals, the diploma, the blah blah blah. Okay, is not the fact to be, is not egotic necessarily. This is just the good. There is a good balance in between. Oh, I don't know if it's good or not. Okay, extreme. Other extreme is selfish, selfie. Okay, in the sense that you are showing off all the time. You are putting your picture everywhere, and you are in love with yourself. Okay, in a certain extent, to exaggerate. Okay, there is the middle way, the middle path between both. Okay, that's the point. But we can be proud. Just, I mean, this just the self-esteem is normal retribution, and you can have for everything, for management. Some employees, okay, they like money, but for them even an incentive, a financial incentive, a bonus, and so on, is not that important that the recognition of congratulation or a title, manager or whatever, you know, the different hierarchy and so on. So for them is much more important, even for the kids in education and so on, for at school and so on. they need to listen. Oh, that's great, you did a good job, and so on and so forth. But you know, even personally, I will not hide, but all what I do regarding, for example, I need necessarily some feedbacks. Yes, I like, of course, when some people say regarding my books, regarding eventually this channel or whatever, yeah, thank you because it brought me and so on. Or I had that comment like this in the past for my books, especially it's revealed me or changed my vision of life and so on. Of course, you feel happy. You're not doing for nothing. If you publish something, I mean, you make it public, it's for a good reason. It's for sharing. You know, it's not to be, let's say, arrogant or let's say to show off. It just, you know, the grandma, she's spending a half day to prepare a good dinner, and the guest, she's just observing, and she asks, how is it? And they say, oh, it's excellent, or they don't say anything, or they say just you know, appreciate, like she's happy. It's normal. She did with all her heart. It's the same. So she's happy of this kind of award. This is esteem. Fifth, and this is our main topic here, it is exactly self-realization, self-complacency, self-accomplishment. What is it concretely? This is the fact, not regardless the point of view, the recognition of other people, you are just satisfied of what you did. You're self-accomplished. You consider you did your best. You attained your intention was pure. You did, I mean, you gave your best. You did your best. You could have improved and so on, but you're satisfied of that. That's the point. Okay, so this is very close to self-love. Self-love, this is what I said before, is not narcissistic. This is just, I think, is normal, is human. Okay, all right. So this pyramid has been established in 50s. So there is a later 70 years ago. There is a kind of dust, we could say. So it's not to be necessarily critical, but we could update or at least to improve. Personally, this is just personal. I would add floor 6, or let's say a 60th chapter. Okay, which would be transcendence. Transcendence, yes, is what we saw in key 14. This is the fact to surpass, okay, your human condition. Okay, what does it mean? It means that you did more than you could in a certain extent. This is especially the case for sports, because, you know, you have your fan club and so on. They push you, they shout and so on, they motivate and so on. And you do something that sometimes you just even astonished. Transcendence. Okay, so a good example that I used to say for my management course, this is Kennedy. Kennedy in 62, he declared to the world without any filter, before the end of this decade, okay, we will send a man on the moon and he will come back. Okay, and NASA, okay, the organization, the feasibility, the technology, and so on, technicality, they say, oh my God, it's completely crazy, because it was not possible in 62. But apparently they did it. Okay, so 70 years after, they transcend. I mean, even less, 60 years later, they did it. Okay, why? They transcend the human condition. Okay, they surpass themselves. Okay, so that's the point of transcendence. The level step I could add is transmission. Okay, a mission of transmission. Okay, it is for me very important to get to be self-realized and so on, and also then to share with people. You know, in the evolutionary school we are building, for which we hope, so we are teaching now in the orphanage of Bali, but in parallel of that we hope that it will be online in 2 years, and let's say in physically in 3 years. If it's a little more, it will be more. But it's not a big deal. It's just timeline. Okay, so the transmission within this program, you know, for example, it's from 6 years old till 17 years old or 18 years old. And if you are year 8, for example, 8 years old, 2 hours a week, you have to teach to previous year grade. Okay, so students who are 70 years old, to re-explain, to make sure to show that you understood what you learned the year before. Okay, it's a fresh reminder. This is showing active feedback to show that you understood, because you are capable to re-explain and so on. So it's a part of the game. So transmission is for me the fact to mature your own knowledge, and also to let's say to spread in general. 8, level 8, I would, because 8 is like infinite symbol, is a collective achievement. What does it mean? It is a new paradigm. It is the new era. Okay, we can be happy for the happiness and the realization of someone else. Okay, yes, it's possible. The proof, if your son or your daughter reach, I don't know, a certain certificate, diploma, or accomplishment, I don't know, art, award, or whatever, competition, sportive, and so on, you feel proud of them. It's like an extension of yourself. It's like if you would have been this person. Okay, it's an extension of yourself. But I think in the future, it will be a kind of expansion of the notion of family as humankind. Okay, so this is the collective achievement. I give you an example. This is part of African culture, Ubuntu. I talk about that in Sage, Passage, Utopia, the book available in English for free on my website if you want. This is concretely, this is from South Africa in Swahili. It means, actually, this is the philosophy is how to be individually happy if the rest, I mean, the group is not. Okay, so an experience has been done to make it short. They put, let's say, a basket full of fruits, and they say to the kids, the winner will have access to it. Okay, so they played a game, they did the competition, and the first one, the winner, immediately rush at the basket with the all fruits, and he distribute to everybody. And he say, so they ask why you did that, so why you don't keep, how to be happy by my own if my friends are not, you know? And for me, it's so important, and it's probably the new era, the future of this new philosophy. I'm gonna give you another example. Sorry if you don't like football, soccer, but it's just a metaphor, okay? Okay, I'm French, so it's easier to use this example. The World Cup 18, who won? France. Okay, who scored? Maybe you don't know. Different players for 4 scores. There's a goal. So one of them is Mbappé, a great player that I appreciate a lot. Anyway, it's not the point. Okay, do you think Mbappé, when he scored, because he's a world champion, do you think his left, I mean, his right leg say to his own left leg, oh, I scored, I'm champion, you're not, because the left leg didn't score? Of course not. This is Mbappé, the player, the full player who is world champion. Of course, who gave the ball is also a world champion. It was also useful to give this ball. Okay, the goalkeeper didn't score, but is very useful. Rami is one of the players. He never played. But apparently, according to the testimonies, it was extremely important because it was mature and it was important for the team spirit, for the cohesion of the team and so on. He's also champion in the world. The trainer, he didn't play. He's the conductor, okay? So those who are the staff, okay, in general for massage and so on, they are champion in the world. So what does it mean? It means that a victory is necessarily collective. That's the point. Okay, so let's continue. Second point is conatus. Conatus is from Spinoza philosophy, the great Dutch Jewish Portuguese origin, but he's Dutch. Spinoza, great philosopher, one of the best one. He has been kicked out the Jewish community because his vision of God was too universal, probably very animist. He was perceiving God within people, within everything, actually. He really had and by the way, Einstein say, when he has been asked, do you believe in God? And he say, what type of definition you're talking about God? And he say, if it's the, quote mark, Spinoza's God, I mean the concept of Spinoza, yes, I do believe. So, to show that it was universal and so on. But just anyway, the conatus means it is a kind of force allowing the maintenance of everything. Okay, a cell, atoms with the molecules or the electrons and so on, and the human beings, and also the maintenance and the expansion as well, like the expansion of the universe, or the expansion in general of human nature, for example in states from Appalachia and so on. The expansion of the population, the expansion of going further and further, new records all the time, the performance and so on. This is conatus. Okay, so it's kind of the link between body and mind. Okay, the coherence, the coordination between both concepts. So it's the notion of affects. Okay, joy and sadness. Okay, just to make it. But actually, this allows life to survive. If someone wants to suicide, it's not possible to hold your breath. You can try after 3 minutes and so on. It's impossible. Why? Because we are naturally programmed, in quote mark, naturally, to avoid that. It is conatus. Okay, and the conatus is a kind of force pushing you into your self-realization. And then we're gonna see with techniques. Self-realization is near the concept of sin. Sin in Aramaic, Semitic language, initially means miss your targets. Okay, so a sin is not necessarily a fault, a failure. Is just that you have your expectation and you miss it. Okay, so you're not in the life flow. That's the point. Okay, let's see on the down-to-earth perspective techniques. First, very important down-to-earth, to reach, to be self-accomplished, very important, is to define what you center of interests. Okay, concretely, center of interest, what you appreciate. Okay, personally and professionally, very important. Secondly, is to define clearly achievable, reachable objectives. Okay, qualitatively, quantitatively. I want kids. Okay, how many? In which extent, and so on and so forth. Okay, so that's the point. Objectives defined clearly. Okay, and reachable. Ask me to jump 12 meters. I could never do. Okay. Then, secondly, define clearly deadlines. Okay, deadlines and milestones with retro planning. Okay, referring to the previous key 56. Okay, project, action, task. I refer to the previous key. Then make a diagnosis. Okay, a diagnosis of what? An assessment of your skills towards your center of interest, okay, your competencies, your skills, then the competencies, the skills required for this sport, for this job, for this activity, for instance, okay, thereby, according to that, you don't have training, coaching eventually, okay. Then beyond of that, do you need, for example, a certification, a certification, a diploma, an accreditation, and so on to practice officially? If you want to reconvert into, I don't know, naturopaths or an energetician or whatever, a new type of, you need a diploma, okay? You need a certification. If you want to be a taxi driver, you need your driving license, and then also to do a test and so on. It's not you do like this, tomorrow you buy, I mean, maybe in a certain country, but usually is not the case. Okay, so then establish a roadmap. A roadmap is a methodology. Okay, you have the timeline and so on, the milestones. Now what you need is, okay, the different action and to see the big picture of the strategy, the ins and the outs, okay, how to reach concretely and practically. Then very important as well in the self-accomplishments is the notion of discipline. Discipline doesn't mean, yes, sir, yeah, it's not military. It's not that. A discipline, and there is no successful people who don't have discipline, okay? Whatever, in art, in sport, a soccer player, a singer, and so on, is an investment, whatever. It's a real investment. So disciplines means a good state of mind, okay? Secondly is regularity. It means frequently, if you want to learn a language, you don't do 1 or 2 days and then you stop during 6 months. You need to be to do it regularly. Then an investment. But actually the investment means if it is what you like, is not an effort, okay? It's not painful because it's a pleasure, okay? When you date, when you see someone you love, you don't put quotas. You not say, oh, I need to see her or see him 2 hours and so on. No, you see, and it's a pleasure, and time flies when you are passionate, okay? Then, very important in the techniques to integrate is the corrective actions. Okay, what does it mean? It means that when you launch a project and so on, to reach your self-realization, necessarily you will have some obstacles. You will encounter some hardship. Okay, that's always like this. And those who are successful are those who respect the fact that they fall down sometimes. Remember, to be able to walk, you need to fall down at least 2,000 times. So, and nobody usually say, okay, I think it's not for me. I will not walk during my life. Of course not. So it's the same principle. Okay. So 8, find meaning. To find meaning means it has to make make sense. It means something that you love, but also vibrate within you with a deeper perspective. That's the point. You think is useful in the absolute. This is beyond of the fact that you love. Okay, you love. Okay, for example, you want to be a journalist for football. Yeah, it's your passion. That's fair enough. But is it existential? Not really. Okay, so this is even different because it gives you much more motivation. You know, it's what we call, there is a mapping for that. You can check on the internet. It's what we call Ikigai. Okay, I-K-I-G-A-I. Ikigai means literally in Japanese, reason for being, raison d'être. Okay, so this is a mapping crossing different elements like what you like compared to what the world needs and so on. Mission and so on. Okay, and it's quite general, but I invite you to do this, but to try to find something vibrating, okay, with your philosophy and so on. Then 9, to share your achievements. Is not egotistical, okay, I mean, it's not you show off, it's not, no, it's inclusive. It means that, you know, it's like, it's not shining, is to enlighten people through your light and your realization, to help them to find their own way, and to inspire them to do it as well. Okay, that's why Marianne Williamson said something like, when we enlighten, we allow indirectly people to do the same. Okay, so it's not shining and to blind people, no, it's on the other way around. Okay, so it is be the change that you want to see in the world, and by being this, the change that you want to see in the world, you become an icon, not as a finality, but a source of inspiration, and people want to not to copy you, but to adjust and to do it in their life. That's really different, okay? And last technique is to participate in something bigger than individually, with a notion of, for example, transmission, association, conglomerates, you know, round table, and so on and so forth. Okay, let's continue with some tips. First, be yourself, okay? Because being someone else is already taken. Huh? This is what Oscar Wilde, the Irish writer, said. Okay, so be happy and achieve yourself with even little. It doesn't matter. Don't pretend to do charity because you think it's this is good and so on. No, do it because you like it. Okay, don't create a character. Be yourself. Okay, that's the point. Be yourself. If your objectives are not really high, it's not a big deal. It's better to reach, okay, your objective, even if they are, let's say, small, or they are not really looking for high performance, than feeling all your life long frustrating because your objectives are too high and you never reach them. And you're always crying and frustrated and so on, and you don't honor life at the end. Okay, so keep this in mind. Secondly, avoid limiting thoughts. Okay, what does it mean? Limiting thoughts, it's, you know, bias, cognitive bias for, no, I'm not capable, I'm not skilled, I'm stupid, I'm dummy, and so on. Because your parents, your education, your teachers, and so on, they say to you. Okay, so this is referring to, this is reprogramming. Reprogram your subconscious regarding that, to be self-confident, to be more confident. Okay, referring to key 35 and self-confident regarding key 50 or 51, I don't remember. Anyway, so this is also important. Okay, otherwise it's like in your computer when you are full of virus. Okay, clean up this, otherwise you have less chance to reach this feeling of self-accomplishment. I could never, and so on. Okay, but you are in the self-realization of that. Huh? Then, third, know yourself. Know thyself, and you will know the secret of the universe, referring to key 9, that to say the ego, keep in mind, edge God out, not only, it's also the personality. Persona are the different layers, the different mask of the personality, okay? Due to your education, your character, your culture, your religion, and so on and so forth. Okay, shaping what you are now. Is it your true self, or this is the fruit of the external elements like wind and so on? You know, for rock, I mean. Okay, you have been shaped. So that's the point. Then also cleansing. This is due to your education and so on, ego, due to your karma, due to your lineage, your family, and so on and so forth. Okay, all this. And also be self-confident regarding what we said before, key 50. Avoid limiting thoughts, know yourself. Fourth, passions. Be passionate. We say in French, Rome has not been built in one day. In Spanish, it's from Spain is Zamora no se ganó en una hora. It means the city of Zamora has not been triumphed in 1 hour. Okay, so it's for a battle, something like this, the story. And so it means everything needs time. You had to wait for 9 months. My partner remind me sometimes, or just for fun, she say, "Are you sure that you stay? You wait for 9 months?" Indeed, I wait for 9 months because it's not really my my main skill. The fact to be patient. Yeah, I improved myself, but it's true that usually I like when things are quick. I mean, in the realization. When I launch something, I cannot wait for a few years. Okay, like if I write a book, I need maximum within 6 months it should be done. For myself, it's not to show off and so on. It's just for myself. Okay. Anyway, avoid skepticism. Okay, skepticism. It means try to have a never die attitude. Okay, you reach your points. Okay, yes, it's difficult. Maybe you have corrective actions and so on, but you try to avoid to cry from the first obstacle. Those who are successful are those who are capable to fall down, to accept it, and to take some corrective action, resilience, what we call this, and then to continue, okay, the path. That's really important. And to avoid skepticism, it means also to avoid, energy and vampire, and also skeptic, those, it's shit, never work, and so on, or we tried, and so, okay. What's your solution? Do you have some solution? No? Okay. Okay, let's forget. Okay, so all the frustrated people and so on, don't listen to them necessarily. Then, be invested, of course, and believe in it. Be invested, committed, and believe in yourself, your dreams, and so on. Be absolutely, convinced. This is law of attraction. You feel, you visualize, and you thanks in advance is already present. That's the point. Okay, referring to key 36 co-creation. Then be surrounded and supported passively with your environment. Okay, motivation, support from your family, your network, and so on. When I say passively, what does it mean? If you have doubt, if you fall down and so on, they don't have necessarily solutions, helps and so on, but they are there. They're just a shower punctually, they support you, I believe in yourself, and so on, all this kind of thing, passively. Actively means to be supported. Actively means that don't be ashamed to ask some help, some hands. Okay, you don't have this capacity, you need a training, you need a coaching, you need to outsource. You're not capable to make a website, you're not capable to do communication, you're not capable to ask, even you have to pay for that and so on, but ask, or not necessarily, or be helped by people. Don't be afraid. And if what's the worst? They say no. If you ask to help people and they just say no, sorry, I cannot, or I don't want, and so on, you will have tried. Okay, so that's the point. Okay, then very important as well is to celebrate small victories. This is once again the principle of friendship match before the World Cup. You do Andorra, Liechtenstein, or whatever Kyrgyzstan, and so on so far, just to score a lot. Okay, like this, you are a vibration of so try to do action for which you will have a quick results. Like this, you are in a positive mood. Okay, positive vibration of accessing to your self-realization. Okay, you are in a process of it. Then, last but not least, take care, protect yourself, preserve yourself, have a good balance. Okay, always important. Excess makes less. Okay, this is what I like to say always. be autonomous, okay? Be aligned with your expectation. Do self-analysis, but not that much, not always, change your angle, and good flexibility, but not too much, and so on. This is the middle path. That's really important. All right, and then, of course, because once you express your intention, you did your best, the maximum, then you feel already part of self-accomplished. That's the point. All right, let's see a kind of, if I can afford, a case study. Two of them, by the way. The first one is very simple to show you that it can be operational quickly. Why I feel self-realized. Not necessarily for the money I have on my bank account, not at all, but because I feel in harmony and useful. Okay, I give you just a simple example among a lot. When I say to you the evolutionary school, I teach this program already in the orphanage of Bali. It's for free, of course. My main income is the smile of the kids. The fact they feel evolving, they reach a certain autonomy and so on, and they handle by their own some projects. You know, this is the philosophy of Confucius. When you see someone starving, hungry, instead of giving a fish, teach him how to fish. So I help them to learn how to fish. Okay, that's the point. So, for example, we have 20 different disciplines, we could say, but one of them is project management. So we do event, show for culture, but it means implying organization, coordination for the show itself, but also for communication, for booking a space, doing promotion, communication with TV, and so on. It's quite large, okay? Or when we do videos, songs, all this kind of thing. It's a preparation. So I initiate kind of idea, then we establish all the methodology we saw, and they do it. So me, I'm just the conductor. I'm not saying you do this and do. No. I just support them. I just help them, okay? I suggest, of course, if I see that they go in the wrong direction, but they are doing by their own at the end, okay? So that's a fruit of self-accomplishment. And also I see them reaching the self-accomplishment as well, because they do real concrete things. They promote the culture, they organize things and so on. They are more autonomous and so on. They are let's say resourceful. Okay, very important word. So one of them is what we created. Liberation is a kind of organization. It's a kind of project, but that we can divide by other scope. The thing is initially is like liberation and Bali, the island of where we live in Indonesia. So it was preventive curative. What is it? Initially, it was access and focus on recycling and ecology, because there is a lot of plastic because of education, people throw away and so on, and it's disgusting. And also, there is not so many, let's say, infrastructure to afford and so on due to financial problems. Well, anyway, so the situation is like this. But we did all together. We went on Sunday, and we went and we clean up and so on the forest. So we took picture. It's not extraordinary. A lot of people are doing as well. So before, after, okay, let's say to arouse a kind of challenge, a kind of motivation for other kids in Bali, in this island, in all Indonesia, in all Malaysia, Southeast Asia, and then Australia and in the world. Why not? Like challenge, but with real consequences, okay? And so it was the first step, but not to clean the whole islands. If a little bit groups like this are doing a little bit, it's already do a lot, okay? So that's the point. First. Secondly, they go as ambassadors in the municipality and also in the school to teach simply with a good communication why it's so important and not respectful for their own culture, earth, human beings and so on. And because it's due to ignorance, people don't throw away their paper and so on, plastic, just for fun. It's just because they ignore that it's not naturally recyclable. Okay, but anyway, just this is one example among a lot, and we want to initiate this kind of project like this. So you see that it's simple. Now I share with you another one, which is you benchmark worldwide. You benchmark. What is it? It's a project within me for more than 20 years. I talk about that in Sage Passage Utopia, available on my website for free, depicting, let's say, the principle, which is quite simple. This is a platform of good ideas. What is it? It is highlighting light. What does it mean? It means that we can consider, we can reproach news in general, not in a certain, all countries. The news are always focusing on darkness, on negative parts. This is not reality. There is probably 50-50 or 60-40, whatever, but it is not exclusively negative things on the planet. But the fact that systematically we see and we watch that, it's reduced the energy of people, the mindset of people. People become, let's say, sad. They become, let's say, nervous, frustrated. They develop anxiety and so on and so on. Okay, so the goal is to change this trend, not to change reality, is to show a kind of reality. There is as much as good things happening that negative things. Okay, so I always say since I'm a kid that I was sure that if we were combined, like, you know, pieces of the puzzle game, they are for having travel in 1/3 of the planet, 66 countries in the world, and I saw so many world heritage. And I said to myself many times, if we were combine all these great ideas, it would be, let's say, an endless, limitless treasure for humanity. Okay, so that's the point, is to gather the all good things on this planet from the past. Okay, because before it was not better, it was not worse, same for now. Okay, so from the past, from different cultures, some of them, Ubuntu, for instance, is completely ignored. Okay, from the past and from now. Okay, because a lot of people, they are launching new projects, incredible, beautiful, and so on, but nobody is focusing. So there is no investment, no financial support, and so on. So it's tough and hard. If we change this trend, if we are more focusing, okay, when you finish to watch the news, what most of the time people say, what the fuck, the world is crazy, and so on. So people become, reduce their energy, and they are, you know, skeptical, they don't believe in anything, and they just, let's say, feed this egregore of fear in general. Okay, so that's the point. Okay, so the goal is by seeing this platform, these beautiful ideas, that the people say to themselves, ah, yeah, so it's a kind of, it's possible, and I want to be a part of this trend. This is, the world is separating those who will be more and more skeptical, and the fear, the low vibration, hate, and so on, and those who don't ignore that, but they're just focusing on the positive dimension. Okay, it's pointless to struggle against darkness. It's better to burn a candle. That's the point, is from Confucius. Okay, so it is this. So the principle is really simple. Concretely, is a kind of platform gathering the information. So at first, practically on Facebook, for example, a Facebook page, then on a website, and like, you know, launching an hashtag, and you, not me too, and you. What about you means, and you, with question mark. What is what you bring to this world? What do you bring to this planet? Okay, you know, Kennedy say, before asking what United States brings to you, ask yourself what you can bring to United States. Kennedy, Democrat. So, in a sense that, yeah, we could ask ourselves, what do we bring to this world? It can be a tiny piece. A drop in the ocean is not a big deal. Okay? So, that's really this notion of launching that, and we've agreed, but easy to access. Okay, so what is it? A pattern, a grid of analysis with first ID, secondly, or a concept, then the added value, and then the results, then the application, and then the reference or the source to go further. Okay, so, and what are the disciplines? It's not exhaustive, but almost everything. Science, environment, health, sociology, economy, education, art, philosophy, can be an inspiration in a small community in the middle of, I don't know, Africa, in the middle of Central Asia, in the middle of Bolivia, and so on. Okay? And just a source of inspiration doesn't mean copy-paste and homogenization, not at all. Just, oh, it's working well. Okay, good. I inspire, I adjust, and so on. Like Ayurveda, once again, there is no miracle recipe, there is only miracle adaptation. The thing we are doing, the evolutionary school online, plus the community they are building in Bali, even, come on, this videos, they are supposed to be for free. So if you follow them properly, you can become tomorrow a coach, a life coach. Okay, if you can just adjust, be inspired by this and so on, but you can use it to reconvert in a new person, new job and so on. But what I try to tell you, all this is to help people. Okay, free access. So this is the principle, because either people just let's say bring new content to this platform, or they just consult for free. Okay, so but in both sense they help, because even if they just have good elements, good information, they feel better. So only by emitting positive energy, it's brings something new for the new paradigm and new era in general, if we believe in it, of course. But even if we don't believe, it's just positive for them, they will feel more happy, okay, happier. So either they participate, either they don't. But participate means, okay, I bring a good idea, or I just give a help for 1 hour a month. It's up to anybody, according to the capacity and so on. Okay, it's only, let's say, volunteers, but that's the point. So I invite you officially, yes, you, individually, to be part of it if you wish, of course. And this is something why I'm sharing now, because I think it's important and I need people, I need hands. I cannot do. I'm talking about it officially. I published it 70 years ago. In 2015, when I was in a book when I was in Iran, and actually I talk about that officially in 3 years ago, I think, on an interview and so on. I hope that some people do it. If it's not me who emits, I don't care. If it's already existing, we can combine and so on. The goal is not to have individual reward and say, oh, I did it, and so I don't care. I just want it is like this. I think it can be really useful. Okay, you cannot change the problem with the same state of mind, the mindset who created it. Okay, so keep this in mind. It's from Einstein. So one example among a lot. Humanitarian service. It is something I have in my mind for 20 years. I wanted 10 years ago to send to the French minister. To make it short, I depict it in a book as well. This is something for France, but it's I depict it in Britain, actually in the British society, saying this is using clusters. Okay, so it's social humanitarian service. What does it mean? It's not yes sir, but it is 6 months when people are let's say they are major, so at 18 years old, they go 6 months for humanitarian action. Okay, so men from one side and girls from the other side, of course. And so it's compulsory, of course. And they need to do things, concrete things, like for agriculture in Africa, in Bangladesh, in India, and so on and so forth. And so it's a benchmark of information. Okay, so they bring them hands and IDs and so on, and also they will have, okay, a cohesion. Okay, so you take social clusters. For example, you will not listen to fuck England and so on, because when you see what's abroad, sometimes you come back to England and you say, finally, it's not that bad. Okay, so for education, for many things, infrastructure and so on. So you are more peaceful regarding your nation, or you propose corrective action to your nation eventually. But beyond of that, and much more than this, is to, you know, most of people, they don't like each other because they ignore each other, and they believe in all the myth that we hear about news and so on. So you put some clusters that they cannot bear each other. For example, I don't know, from people from Chelsea in the suburb, the golden suburb of Chelsea in London, mixing with some minority from Pakistan in Leeds, and other minority in Manchester from India or Bangladesh and so on. They hate each other, for example, for different reason, or from Dockers, from I don't know, from Newcastle, or from Protestant from Ulster and so on. You mix all that, okay, and can be any type of minority and people from different perspective, different golden, poor, from the Docklands of Belfast and so on, whatever. But you mix that, and at the beginning it's gonna be kind of big fight. I mean, not a real fight, of course, but it's to preserve and to avoid that. But in the difficulty they have, in their hardship, to combine the competencies to survive in Kodamar and to finalize the mission. Otherwise they cannot stop. It's not a prison, of course. But you will see, after a few weeks, they will be solidarity. It means that the minority coming back in the township and so on, okay, golden, modest and so on, they would enlarge the perspective. They will enlarge the tolerance. They will use empathy in action, okay? And this, you can do it in Britain, you can do it in Germany, you can do it in States, wherever actually, and you can also do further than this. You know, I use this example also for France, for example. Agriculture is 5% of the population, 4% now. A lot of people, they are 60 years old, they are retired, and they still have good capacity. You give them an invoice, incentive, financial incentive, and you send them to help in Africa, in different countries, to help for techniques to improve, okay? Those people, sometimes they're racist, but they never saw any foreigners, but because of the media, they are afraid and so on, okay? This is typically. Anyway, they go there, and then they realize, with real eyes, they realize that, oh, they are humans, they are like us. Oh, really? Yes. And they don't have a lot, but they share this not a lot. You see what I mean? So this is common sense. And then they go home. It was good in barbarians. Don't say that, please. They were human. They touched me a lot. And all these testimonies allow to resume the common thread, the social fabric of the world, the worldwide social fabric, except if we prefer to maintain in this battle of divine and conquer, in quota mark, a world to wise. Okay, so this is one example among lots. Okay, so if you want to be part of it, please contact me. You have my email and so on. Please contact me. This is something I would like to initiate in 2022. Okay. In this year, within this year, it's not complex. If you already have somebody, you want to do it, you want to copy, and I don't care. I don't want to put any copyright. For me, the goal is it is done by me or by other people. But whatever, if I initiate and I help for like conductor and so on, I would be pleased. And once again, it's a tiny example of what we could do. Okay, so, you know, it's existential. Self-actualization, self-realization, self-accomplishment is existential. Existential, to exist, means to separate, to differentiate for the good, for the bad. Okay, so up to you to decide which part you want. But the fact to be fulfilled because we are in harmony and we are useful, activate oxytocin. Oxytocin is one of the 4 hormones of happiness. This is, you know, self-realization is never individual exclusively. It's always the fruit of a collective, let's say, success and team spirit. This is the beginning of the new era and the new vision of the world. People are not perceived, the other people are not perceived as feast and threat, but as hands and collaboration, not exclusively blind competitor. I'm convinced there is space for everybody. Find the place which is already yours in this cosmic breath. Alright, this is only one key for you to shape your own master key. As you know, all the roads lead to Rome and to home and to the dome. Thank you for your attention and see you very soon.